Hello, welcome. This is Friday's devotion, and I wanted to kind of continue on what we've been talking about. King David has died. Solomon became king, but he kind of messed up. He got a bunch of wives and started worshiping foreign idols. His son took over, Rehoboam decided to be even stricter than his father to show what a man he was. That turned out to be a disaster as the whole country split and all he had left was Judah. Then now we have a split kingdom, and up in the north the king is Jeroboam. This is confusing. We have Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Jeroboam is a king up north, and he never really was much of a God-fearer or somebody who wanted to follow the Lord. So he builds an altar, and I've been to this altar in Israel. It's up north in what was the area of Dan. It's up close to the Syrian border. And this is kind of where the 6-day war of Israel took place, a lot of it. And I'll show you a picture now of this temple area that they have discovered now. They've dug up, and sure enough, this is not a temple to the God of Israel, because it's not built anything like that. It's got steps, which it's not supposed to have. It has hewn stones, which it's not supposed to have. And when they found it, there was an insignia on the altar and a bull. And it said, which is, the god of Baal, and other gods had bulls as symbols. By the way, so does Wall Street, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, so the bull on there, underneath it said, "Hear, O Israel, is the God who led you out of Egypt." And supposedly the god of Baal was the one who led them out of Egypt, which was not true, of course, and really stupid. So in our lesson today in chapter 13 of 1 Kings, it just says a man of God comes from Judah down south up to Jeroboam and is speaking to him. And he arrives there, and he tells him that a child named Josiah will be born. Now, there was a Josiah later on. And it says, that same day, a man of God gave a sign to prove his message. He said, "The Lord has promised to give this sign. This altar will be split apart, and its ashes will be poured out on the ground." When King Jeroboam heard the man of God speaking against the altar at Bethel, he pointed to him and shouted, "Seize that man!" But instantly the king's hand became paralyzed in that position, and he couldn't pull it back. At the same time, a wide crack appeared in the altar, and the ashes poured out, just as the man of God had predicted in his message from the Lord. Now, you would think that Jeroboam, seeing this, his arm frozen as he's pointing to, get that guy, that he would, and then he sees the crack just like it was just predicted, the ashes just like it just been predicted, would go, "Whoa, I'm worshiping the wrong God. I better do something about that." But no, he doesn't stop doing anything that he was doing before. Well, later on, Paul will, in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, 1 through 11, will kind of use this as an example, saying you really need to be careful of your gods and what you're worshiping. Jesus should be the only thing that is ultimate in your life, the only thing. And you really need to look at your life and ask yourself, is there something in my life that is more important than Jesus? Is there something I would sacrifice God or my beliefs for? Would it be my children, for example, or money, or my house, or my retirement fund, or anything, my wife or husband, anything that is above God is going to get you in trouble. you're basically, if you have something above God, you're like Jeroboam sitting here with his arms stretched out but frozen. And it's important for us to always keep track of our lives and kind of be looking at what is more important in our lives. Because we all have idols. We do. We all have idols that build up momentum and become more and more important in our lives. And it's important for us to question that and ask God to change our hearts so that we focus more on Him, the only true God that there is. And that's proven by this man of God who comes to Jeroboam. It's been proven over and over again throughout history that the only God that's worth worshiping is Jesus Christ. Revelation is last book of the Bible is all about this Domitian guy in the 90s who was emperor, which you probably never heard of, but he was demanding emperor worship. And the book of Revelation is written to the people of God, Christians, to say, do not worship the emperor, because he really, even though he appears to have lots of power as the emperor of the Roman Empire, he has no power next to Jesus Christ. And if you look at today, most of you haven't heard of that Roman emperor at all. But you have heard of Jesus. He's still here. He is still a king. He is still the most important one in our lives. So, don't let anything become more important than Jesus in your life, because we have thousands of years of history of people putting other things in the place of God and being sorry in the end. And in the final end, they will be very sorry indeed. So worship the Lord your God and Him only. God bless. Have a great day. Bye.